you know we're back. Back live on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what time it is. It's Renovation Nation time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Gotta give a shout out. It's like always in the third quarter. I gotta give a shout out to Mr. Justin Sheffield. I was talking to him today. I was messaging with Sarah, and I thought while I was messaging with her up there in St. Charles, Missouri, I would give my buddy a shout. But we'll give him a big shout out. Anyhow, I'm Chad Rowland, owner of RTM Roofing, host of this crazy show, coming at you live from Super Talk 99.7 WTN from the undisclosed location of Studio 378. You know, as I always say. But I don't always say that. It's a habit. But nevertheless, I hope everyone's having a great Saturday. I hope you've been learning something a little bit about RTM Roofing today. Because if you're just tuning in, I'm wanting to let people know who RTM Roofing is. And if you've never heard of us, well, you know, what better place for me to let you know? And I was talking about what we do and why we do it and all this good stuff. And if you're going to go back and listen to that, well, after the show today, well, it'll really be Monday between 2 and 4 o'clock, go to a standard conversation on YouTube or Facebook. Yeah, there'll be links. Go to RTM Roofing and watch the show. Listen to it. And it's just a repeat. It's a repeat, but it gives you the ability to go back and catch up of what I'm talking about today because, as I mentioned last week, overloaded because I talk so much and fly and do all this that I trying to slow down, but sometimes I get passionate still like today. I'm trying to cram in so much, and there's not a lot. I'm holding my clipboard up. There's not a lot, but under each one of these words are a lot of bullet points. Are a lot of bullet points I really want to get across, and I'm trying to dissect those as we go. Now, I don't want this to be a long, boring class. That's why I like squirreling. But at the same point in time, I want you to be, you know, if you have a roofing issue, when you have a roofing issue, and at some point in your life, if you haven't already, that's a good thing. But at some point in your life, something's going to happen to your roof, and you're going to have to deal with it, and you're going to have to start somewhere. Well, RTM Roofing is a good place to start, I always like to say. But you can at least find out information in this day and age when I'm working on something like my mower, and I've taken something apart and I don't remember how to put it back together. Well, back in the day, you'd have to go get a book and read it and look at diagrams. Well, now I just go to YouTube and type in what it is, and hopefully someone's done something like this with it, and usually by now they have. So I can go back and get it. Now I've got a spot I can go to should I have that issue again. I'm trying to be, I always say be proactive, not reactive. But in this case, if you want to learn some information, you can go to our YouTube channel. Because a lot of this show, what I talk about here on this is there now, where you can go back and re-listen to it or hear it for the first time because, life's busy and you missed our show last Saturday, Shame. No, I'm just kidding. But I get it. Life happens. So we just want to give you a tool. And look, I always say, and I say this again, people think I'm crazy. I'm like, there's more than one roofer than RTM Roofing out here. More than one roofing company. We all know that. But information's information. And we want to provide you with it because it's not a state secret. It's not proprietary information. I just want to be able to, like I do it over the airwaves here, be able to give it to you on another platform so you can go back and hear it again should you need it. Because I've still yet to be able to go back sometimes and hear an old show unless I can find it on a road radio show, unless I can find it on the internet somewhere. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but it takes time to find it. Well, you can find ours at a standard conversation on YouTube or search RTM Roofing YouTube, Renovation Nation YouTube. Well, there's a lot of Renovation Nations. That's why it's RTM Roofing Renovation Nation. And go back and listen. So I guess that's enough of that explanation. I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, time's flying. What's RTM's service area? Well, if you pretty much hear our voice on the radio, that's our service area. We'll go anywhere. We will go anywhere in the state of Tennessee, but outside of Davidson County and those surrounding counties, it's a little more time. It's going to be a little more money. But if you don't trust anyone or do not have anyone you can hire or whatever, you've got a problem, I'm happy to come do that. We are. I mean, I do a lot of the outskirts. Well, I call the outskirts farther outside of the center of Nashville. But what are our what is our? How about that? Service area. It's Davidson County. It's every county surrounding it. That's our main hub. You know, Williamson County, Sumner County, Wilson County, Rutherford County, Coffee County. Oh, I'm trying to go west. I can't think. Dixon, was that Cheatham? Yeah, just anything that surrounds Davidson County in the state of Tennessee, that's our hub. That's our hub. So if you are needing our service, now that the ice damming's over, and I know the farther you go west, the rougher it got outside of Nashville, call RTM Roofing at 615-500-0751, 500-0751, or go to rtmroofing.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page. There'll be a yellow box. Fill out your contact info. Goes right into our system, and we will be right back in touch and get you on our schedule to get out there and do an inspection. And that's another thing about RTM Roofing. Sometimes we can give you the estimate right on the spot. You know, you've got a small leak, small repair, something that's just a minimal maintenance item. We can usually, more than not, depending on what our day's like, give you a number right then and there, or sit there and work something up and talk to you and let's get you fixed, get you on the schedule. But a lot of times we have to bring it back and we study it because we take a lot of pictures. Again, thanks to this great digital age, the data, you know, I remember I used to sell 20 meg hard drives, 40 meg hard drives. You know, people, I got more RAM than that on this computer I'm on that I use. So that the good part is we document everything. So what is our inspection again? Well, we walk around your house. We take pictures all around your house. Minimum usually of 8. That's sort of the rule. Front, back, left, right, all 4 corners. And while we're doing that, we're looking at your gutter downspouts. We're looking at your gutters, your downspouts to see if we see any hail impacts. Has storms been here? Do you have other issues than what you called us about? As we're going around, start looking if you got siding. We're looking at siding, make sure the mower hadn't beat the side of it up. You know how mowers are. And as we go through all of that, we're looking up at your roof too, because your roof tells a story even from the ground. And when you've been doing it as long as I have anyhow, and a lot of my team, pretty much all my team, we know what we're looking for as we're walking around. It's the usual telltale signs of certain things, not everything. Then we inspect your roof. Look at all your penetrations. Let's see how those flashings are attached. Let's see if that caulking around those nails is still there. Let's see if it's still there, that the nail is backed out or not. That's an important thing. Let's look at the seals of those pipe boots, which are on the flashings. Well, they're called flashings, pipe boot flashings, but the white pipes that come up out of your roof. I don't have any of this written down, so that's why I'm stuttering a little bit. I'm trying to tell you a story and do it at a non-Chad speed so you can understand and sort of picture it in your head. But look at the seals of those boots. They're like an old tire. Here's a picture for your head. You know, if you put a tire out in your front yard or backyard, preferably, and let the sun just beat on it for 5 or 10 years, it's going to get gray. It's going to start cracking. Well, that's what that black boot, that neoprene pipe boot flashing, does on your roof. Why? Because it's going from 75 a couple days ago to whatever it is right now. And probably in 2 weeks be probably -2 again. And taking the sun every day when it's out shining. If not, it's taking rain, wind, hail. You know, just because, yeah, it's a neoprene and the hail will bounce off of it, but after years of UV light from the sun and all the weathering, that boot that's your tire blowing out on your roof. That's what your pipe boots are. Your pipe boots are your tires, just like your tires on your car. You've got to change them. Every 50 to 100,000 miles, you're usually changing your tires, depending on how you drive. Well, a pipe boot, you're going to change every 5 to 10 years on average. I've seen them break down in year 5. I've seen them go to 10 and 13, 12, 13, whatever like that. But by 10 years old, you've got 70, 80, 90,000 miles on that neoprene pipe boot. That's your maintenance. We're looking at that. Then we start looking at your caulking. If you've got counter flashings, we're looking at the caulking that's against your brick wall. If it looks like what your windows caulking looked like when we're walking around, then it's liable to be a little rough and needs some little touching up. And what does your flashing look like? Is it still sitting like it should? There's a lot of details we look at. It's easy to miss sometimes because, number one, you're on a roof. But number two, that's why we go back and sit down at our desk, at our office, at our station, and pull up the computer, pull up our pictures, and then relook at it to have to get you a price once we get an estimate, once we get that information fully absorbed. There I did it again, and right on the music. Because it's funny the things I see in my pictures that I didn't see when I was looking right there at it. That's who RTM Roofing is. That's what RTM Roofing is. We do our best to do our due diligence to the best of our ability to make sure we get it right the first time. I'd like to tell you I'm batting 1,000, but I'm over 500. Anyways, hope you're having a great Saturday. You're listening to Renovation Nation on Super Talk 99.